what a turnaround for Penn State. After going 7-6 in 2021, the Nittany Lions rebounded with an 11-2 season in 2022, including a big win over Utah in the Rose Bowl. Now the Nittany Lions are loaded with talent heading into 2023, and this could be the year that they finally break through to the college football playoff for the first time ever. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're so glad that you could join us today as we break down everything you need to know about the Penn State Nittany Lions, projecting their schedule and record. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country over there, beating out over 80% of the national handicappers each of the last 5 years. If you want guaranteed winning picks, guaranteed money in your pocket, a guaranteed winning season, and one of the lowest prices in the country for a full year-long subscription, this is the place for you. You're not going to find that anywhere else. Check out our Patreon account as well. Exclusive college football content over there. Become a member of our Patreon Wall of Fame for, again, exclusive content year-round. And check out our mailing address down in the description. Send us some gear. We'd love to get some Penn State gear represented in our backgrounds as we continue to expand our GE Nation from coast to coast. So let's take out Penn State. Let's take a look at them. This is a team that I've always kind of had a soft spot for. I have a huge admirer and have so much respect for James Franklin and what he has done with this program. But I know Penn State is also getting a little restless. They have not won the Big Ten since 2016. They've been close, but they haven't found a way to get back over the hump. They beat Ohio State in 2016, haven't won since. A couple of wins over Michigan, but it didn't mean anything if they couldn't beat Michigan State a couple of years or couldn't beat Ohio State. So is this the year that they finally break through, get back to that Big Ten championship and maybe the college football playoff? When we take a look at the offense, I mean, it's unbelievable. A team that averaged over 35 points per game last year brings 8 starters back. And someone say, but they lose Sean Clifford, they might struggle. And I say, no, they won't. Anybody that knows Penn State knows that they won't. Drew Allar is the real deal, and the beauty of it is he's only a sophomore. Takes great care of the football, has a phenomenal arm. Some are saying he could end up becoming the all-time leading passer, breaking Sean Clifford's record at Penn State. This guy is legit, and what's great for him is now he's entering the starting role as the starting quarterback for Penn State. He's got the guys around him to kind of take that pressure off because Penn State has one of the best running back duos in the country, and Nick Singleton, who rushed for over 1,000 yards last year and 12 touchdowns, and Kaytron Allen, who rushed for 867 yards and 10 touchdowns. These guys are the real deal. Penn State's offensive line is the real deal. The Nittany Lions will not struggle offensively, and I, for one, am so excited to see Drew Allar under center, even though they do lose their top 2 pass catchers from last year. Defensively, Penn State going to be solid again. Manny Diaz doing a phenomenal job with the Nittany Lions. 8 starters back, allowed just 18.2 points per game last year. It's 323 yards per game. This team had 43 sacks in 2022, and now 4 of their top 5 tacklers returned from last season, led by Abdul Carter and Curtis Jacobs, both in the linebacking position, and the secondary may very well be one of, if not the best, in the Big Ten. This is a very, very good passing defense that allowed over 250 passing yards just 4 times last year, knew how to shut down their opponents, and I think they're going to do it once again in 2023. You take a look at the schedule for Penn State, not too bad. Obviously, the games against Ohio State and Michigan are the ones that could determine their season, but other than that, it's a pretty favorable slate. They open the year up against West Virginia, the first meeting against the Mountaineers since 1992. A home game and a season opener at night in Happy Valley. Give me Penn State. I'm all over the Nittany Lions here. I think they win convincingly. West Virginia, not going to have a big year, I don't think, under Neil Brown. Very well could be the last year for Neil Brown in Morgantown. They have questions at the quarterback position. Great running back there, and C.J. Donaldson could have a pretty decent game against this Penn State rushing defense. It's solid, but maybe Donaldson has a breakthrough game. But regardless, whoever's quarterback for West Virginia isn't going to be able to lead the Mountaineers to many points, isn't going to be able to lead them to victory. Penn State wins this game convincingly. Talk about a way to start the year. Talk about a welcoming for Drew Allar, who could have a pretty good game against this West Virginia defense. They beat Delaware, no issues there. Then they get into conference play, just like that. And conference play doesn't get off to an easy start. They start at Illinois, who, remember, 2 years ago, Penn State was in the thick of Big Ten title conversation, maybe playoff conversation, but about middle of the year, they played Illinois in Happy Valley, and the Fighting Illini won 20-18 in 9 overtimes. It was unbelievable. 9 overtimes, 20-18. I gotta tell you, I personally do hate those new overtime rules. But Illinois put off a massive upset. Now the Fighting Illini are really, really good. Had a breakthrough year last year under Brett Bielema. They've got a lot of talent coming back this year. They could be a legitimate contender to win the Big Ten West. No doubt about it. But we look at this, the talent on both sides. Penn State owns the edge everywhere. They own the coaching edge. They own the offensive edge. They own the defensive edge. Illinois kind of got some questions on offense. Lose Tommy DeVito. How does Luke Altmaier, transferring in from Ole Miss, how does he fare at quarterback? They lose one of the best running backs in the country from last year in Chase Brown. They lose a lot in the secondary. Devin Witherspoon and Sidney Brown now gone for Illinois. So, while the Fighting Illini are still going to be tough, this game is not one that Penn State can afford to overlook. I still like the Nittany Lions to get this win here. I think they're able to attack that secondary that's going to be good, but not nearly as good as they were last year. And I think Penn State's defense is able to slow down an Illinois offense, especially this early in the year, is still going to be trying to piece together everything. Still trying to find their chemistry and figure out how they're going to operate without their star running back and with a new quarterback. So Penn State wins that game over Illinois, and then they definitely, to me, beat Iowa. The whiteout game in Happy Valley. It is so tough to win in Happy Valley anyways, period. But the whiteout game, that's like the sign of death if you're their opponent. If you know, oh, we're going to Penn State and we are the whiteout game, go ahead and just say we're losing. Not always, but I would say so here. Iowa's a very legitimate good team. Cade McNamara, transferring from Michigan, is going to give that offense a boost. The defense is phenomenal. I don't think Penn State's going to light up the Hawkeyes and drop 30, 40 points on them with that type of defense. But they are beating Iowa. They are not losing this game at home on whiteout night. It's just not happening. I don't think there's much more to discuss on that. So they are 4-0 heading into the game at Northwestern. They crushed Northwestern. 1-11 team last year. Obviously now dealing with the big hazing scandal. Pat Fitzgerald has been let go. It's going to be a rough year for the Wildcats. Probably was going to be one anyways. Now even more so. So Penn State wins that game convincingly, 5-0 heading into the bye week. And really for me, this is like a double bye. Really, when you think Penn State will be so rested heading into that game against Ohio State. They, in theory, will cruise past a really just down Northwestern team. Then they get their bye week. Then they practically get another bye week by playing UMass, which should be a major victory. The two storylines I'm looking at in that game is, will UMass score? And what will the point spread be on October 14th? Those are the only two things I'm interested in there. So, Penn State should cruise in those 3 weeks leading up to Ohio State. So they're well rested heading into Columbus, a game that's going to have major implications, not just on the playoff, but on the Big Ten standings as well. Who keeps themselves in that Big Ten title hunt? Because you've got Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State, the top 3 contenders. How those 3 teams fare against each other will determine who wins that division. This game is huge, guys. Huge, huge, huge. One of the biggest games of the year. Penn State, they beat Ohio State back in 2016. It was the one that put Penn State back on the map. Haven't beaten the Buckeyes since. All 6 games, Ohio State's won 6 straight. All 6 have been decided by 13 points or less. They've been close, but Penn State hasn't been able to get back over the hump. Last year, they were up 21-16 at home against the Buckeyes. They were winning in the 4th quarter and then just collapsed. Ohio State woke up, the defense woke up, and Penn State just collapsed. They lost 44-31. Now they have to go to Columbus. Yes, they're well rested, but against an Ohio State team that will have one of the better passing attacks in the nation. Certainly will have one of the better wide receiver cores in the nation in Marvin Harrison Jr. and Emeka Egbuka. This is going to be a phenomenal Ohio State offense. You got them. You got Travion Henderson. You got Mian Williams. You got Kyle McCord, who we don't really know too much about, haven't seen much action from. But if it's anything like all these other Ohio State quarterbacks have been in years past, he's going to be just fine. And those receivers are going to make him look really, really good, even if he's not. I got to give Ohio State the win here. I can't pick Penn State to win this game on the road. They haven't won since 16. It's on the road in Columbus. It's Ohio State defense is no slouch. I think they find a way, that front 7, to bottle up Nick Singleton and Kaytron Allen, forcing Drew Allar to play in the toughest environment he has faced in his young career in Columbus, in the Horseshoe. I don't know if Penn State, especially with some questions at the wide receiver position, that's one area where Ohio State owns a significant advantage in this game, is with the pass catchers. I don't know if Penn State can generate enough offense to win in Columbus. They've come so close, and I expect another game decided by 13 points or less, but I just don't think they get over that hump. They lose to Ohio State, and now the room for error is small. You win out, maybe you find a way to slip into the Big Ten championship, or maybe you find a way to still get into the college football playoff, kind of like Ohio State did last year. They were 11-1, didn't go play for the title, but still slipped in as that 4 seed. You never know. Luckily for Penn State, I don't think there's much of a hangover against Indiana. If they were playing Maryland after Ohio State, if they were playing Michigan after Ohio State, someone better after Ohio State, you'd have to be mindful. But you get Indiana, one of the worst teams in the conference, at home right after the Buckeyes. Great opportunity to bounce back, and they will. They'll dominate the Hoosiers, and I do think they cruise past Maryland pretty easily as well. Penn State just doesn't really struggle much against the Terrapins. They won 30-0 last year. They have not lost at Maryland since 1961. The last 6 Penn State victories over Maryland have been decided by at least 17 points. They've just dominated the Terrapins over the last 7 years. I know Maryland had that win, I believe, in the COVID season. But again, this is an area where Penn State should dominate the line of scrimmage. Maryland, major questions up front. Even though it's on the road, they win that game big if they don't look ahead to Michigan. I don't think they do. And then the Michigan game comes along in Happy Valley. This is the season. This is it. If Penn State wants to contend for a playoff spot, if they want to contend for a Big Ten title, they've got to at least split the 2 games against Ohio State and Michigan and then not slip up to anybody else. Right now, we don't have that happening so far. So this is it. You beat Michigan, my God, sky's the limit. You lose, probably another New Year's Six bowl game. What's going to happen? They're going to lose. I'm afraid Penn State is going to lose to Michigan. And I know it's in Happy Valley. I know it's so hard to play there, and I get that. And I was so close to picking Penn State to winning this game. I genuinely was. But you look at the numbers here, right? Home field is key, no doubt about it. It's a big point. But Michigan arguably has the best team they've ever had under Jim Harbaugh. J.J. McCarthy is back. Their top 2 running backs are back. The wide receiver core is loaded. The offensive line, one of the best in the country. The defense, absolutely unbelievable. This Michigan team last year, I know it was in Ann Arbor. This Michigan team last year, though, destroyed Penn State, winning 41-17, outgaining them 563 yards to 268 yards, rushing for over 415 yards in the game. Michigan dominated Penn State up front, dominated them with the ground game. I think they can do the exact same again. This game in Happy Valley, tough enough place as it is, but it's not a night game. It's not the whiteout game. It's an 11 a.m. Central Time kickoff. So it's an early morning kickoff for one of the biggest games of the year, one of the biggest games of the season, and I think that actually benefits Michigan quite a bit. The crowd's going to be ruckus. They're going to be excited. It's going to be a big, big game, but I don't know if it's going to have the same effect as if it was the whiteout game or if it was the night game in Happy Valley. Michigan comes in there with their balanced offensive attack, wears down this Penn State defense. And again, that Michigan defense, which is truly unbelievable, bottles up Nick Singleton and Kaytron Allen, a Michigan defense that allowed less than 100 rushing yards per game last year. They bottled them up, once again, forcing Drew Allar and his unexperienced core of pass catchers to win the game through the air. I don't think they can do it. I think the game is extremely, extremely close. But Michigan comes in, steals the game in Happy Valley. Penn State drops their 2 biggest games to Ohio State and the Wolverines. I do believe they'll win their last 2. They'll beat Rutgers with ease. They've won 16 straight over the Scarlet Knights. They'll beat Michigan State with ease, and Detroit beat them 35-16 last year. Spartans won't be much of anything. And with that, the Nittany Lions, we have finishing 10-2, the exact same record that they had last year with the exact same losses that they had last year. Losing to Ohio State, losing to Michigan, going to another New Year's Six bowl game. That's not a bad mark at all. Not a bad mark at all when you consider how young this team is. The running back core is young. Drew Allar's only a sophomore. There's an opportunity for a lot of these guys to come back next year when they will get to host Ohio State, when Michigan will lose a lot. And maybe next year could be that year that Penn State finally breaks through and makes the college football playoff and gets back to the Big Ten championship for the first time since 2016. I just don't think it can be this year. Again, they've got to find a way to split the games against Ohio State and Michigan without slipping up anywhere else. I don't think they slip up anywhere else. The rest of the schedule is extremely favorable, but I don't know if they're quite yet to the level of Michigan and Ohio State. Both games will be extremely close, but I think the Nittany Lions fall just short. It's another fantastic double-digit win season, another fantastic New Year's Six bowl season, another shot at another 11-win season, which is not easy to do, but some would view this as a disappointment as Penn State once again falls short of the ultimate prize. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below. Our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. You do not want to miss out on those. Sign up today for that full year-long subscription. Our Patreon account for exclusive college football content year-round, and our mailing address. Send us some gear. Send us some Penn State gear. Send us whatever your team is. Send us some gear to be represented in every single Gridiron Expert video as we expand our GE Nation from coast to coast. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.